week 4 of the fantasy football season. And here's a few wide receivers I looked at off the waiver wire this week. The first guy, Tank Dell of the Houston Texans. So Tank Dell, he's been breaking out now for this Texan team over the last couple weeks, finding the end zone in back-to-back ball games. And right now, he's bumped up that depth chart pretty quick. Obviously, the injury to Noah Brown helped as well for this Texan team. But now there's no turning back. This guy was impressive in college football, playmaker. And so far in the NFL, him and C.J. Stroud, the two young rookies, are on the same page and making plays for this Texan team. Week 1 at Baltimore, 3 catches, 34 yards. Week 2 versus Indianapolis, 7 catches, 72 yards. And a touch. And week 3 at Jacksonville, 5 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown. So right now, Dell, he's got great speed. Like I said, he's got game-breaking ability down the field. And now he's available in tons of fantasy leagues. But after this week, that percentage is going to go way up. So right now, Dell available in 82% of fantasy leagues. And he's one wide receiver target this week is Tank Dell, and definitely go out there and try to get him if you need help at receiver, because he's going to continue to get his snap count up. And like I said, him and C.J. Stroud have good rapport in the early going. Next receiver is Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers. Adam Thielen coming off a monster ball game for this Panther team. 11 catches, 145 yards, and a touchdown on 14 targets at the Seattle Seahawks. So the first 2 out of 3 games, he was good. So he's been good so far, Thielen. Week 2 versus New Orleans, 7 catches, 54 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. And now right here, week 4, it's another revenge game here for Thielen as well versus former team, the Minnesota Vikings. So this Viking team, we know they're not good on defense. We saw Mike Williams and Keenan Allen just torch this defense over there. And we also saw it a few weeks ago as well with Devonta Smith having a big ball game. So right now, Adam Thielen, him and Andy Dalton had a great game in week 3, connecting and making plays. I know Bryce Young possibly could be back, but I think Thielen's obviously better with a veteran quarterback like Dalton that could get him the ball in spots and just know what type of routes he could run and stuff. So right now, while Thielen's still out there in a decent amount of fantasy leagues at 54%, but definitely breaking out this season after the last couple seasons have been a struggle with injuries and stuff. He's definitely a receiver there this week. Next receiver is Romeo Doubs of the Green Bay Packers. So Doubs, so far, it's been up and down in the early going. 1 good game, 1 bad game, and a good game again. So week 1 in Chicago, 4 catches, 26 yards, 2 touchdowns. Week 2 with Atlanta, 2 catches, 32 yards. And then week 3 versus New Orleans, 5 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown and 12 targets. So right now, Christian Watson still not back in the lineup here for this Packer team. That hamstring injury, obviously a concern for a football player, especially a receiver, cutting, jumping, running down the field. And right now, Dobbs and Jordan Love have a good rapport. Obviously, that fade in the back of the end zone, what a throw and a timing route it was between those two guys, what ended up to be the game-winning touchdown. So right now, Dobbs, he's getting, obviously, receptions. He's getting targets here. Short week, in week 4 versus the Detroit Lions. But possibly they were holding Watson out one more week here to get him ready for this ball game. But anyway, right now, he's available in 59% of fantasy leagues, and he does have 3 touchdowns in 3 ball games. I give Dobbs an ad this week. The next receiver is Joshua Palmer of the Los Angeles Chargers. So Joshua Palmer, he might be the number 2 man over there for this Charger team now, with Mike Williams getting carted off in a non-contact knee injury, unfortunately, in Minnesota. No news yet to see what it is, but obviously it didn't look good. And that's been the problem with Williams throughout his career. He's a talented wide receiver that can make plays, get the deep ball, but injuries. And right now, next man up, Joshua Palmer should be the number 2 receiver. And Quentin Johnston as well should step up as well for this Charger team. He was a first-round pick for the Chargers in the past NFL draft. So far in the season for Palmer, he didn't do much the first 2 weeks, but in an expanded role once Williams went down. 4 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown with a fumble loss here for this Charger team. So right now, good matchup coming up versus division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders, in week 4. Chargers go back home. And Palmer, we saw last season, he went out there and made some plays with injuries to Keenan Allen and Williams as well. He had 72 catches, 769 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. So now if he's going to step into a bigger role, he's one of the top pickups at the receiver position as well. And he's available in 98% of fantasy leagues. Next receiver is Rondale Moore of the Arizona Cardinals. So Moore that we're using in this past ball game versus the Dallas Cowboys as a running back in some formations as well. And Moore even had a rushing touchdown in that ball game for 30 yards. So Moore, 3 carries, 54 yards, a touchdown, and 4 catches, 8 yards in that game. So right now they're using him as a gadget guy was this Arizona Cardinal team, and they took care of the Dallas Cowboys pretty easily. I know a tough matchup coming up at the San Francisco 49ers, but right here, this Niner team, it's going to be tougher versus them, obviously, than the Dallas Cowboys, I believe. And more, they're going to use him in more ways than one once again to try to get this offense generated, to try to go out there and make plays. And right now, he's available in tons of fantasy leagues, and we've seen the upside with Moore throughout the last few seasons on and off. So right now, while he can make plays and be a part of this offense, available in 92% of leagues, he's a pickup this week. Wide receiver, I look to hit off the Warriors. Michael Gallup of the Dallas Cowboys. So Gallup, I know last season was a down year for him, trying to recover from injury. But right here in week 3, he had a good ball game for the Cowboys. 6 catches, 92 yards with some jump balls he was making, some nice slant routes, yards after catch type of plays here. And if Gallup and Dak to get back on the same page, he can help this Cowboy team be a deep threat and a playmaker and a guy who can help fantasy owners. I know the first 2 weeks he didn't do anything. Week 1 at the Giants, 2 fantasy points. Week 2 versus the Jets, 1.3 on PPR leagues. But week 3, the 6 catches, 92 yards, a good game here for Gallup. So right now, week 4 versus a pretty tough New England defense. We'll see if Gallup can get things going once again. But right now, he's more of a deeper league yet, available in 82% of fantasy leagues. That's a few wide receivers I look to hit off the wire in week 4 of the fantasy football season.